People tell you money can buy love, but they forget to mention it can buy you respect. It can buy you boundaries. It can buy you the ability to say no without fearing for your survival. Because the truth is, when you're dependent on someone, you're not choosing to stay silent. You're being forced to. And that's not strength. That is survival. Today, I'm exposing the uncomfortable truth about financial independence and why having money is the ultimate act of self-respect. I want you to think about something. When was the last time you felt truly valued? Not tolerated, not needed, but actually valued. If you can't remember, you've been in the wrong rooms with the wrong people. Here is what happens when you lack financial stability. Your brain gets branded as unreliable. Your voice gets treated as inexperienced. Your boundaries get treated as negotiable. People don't dismiss you because you're bad. They dismiss you because they're unconsciously decided you are not a peer. You're a dependent. And dependents don't get a vote. They get advice. They get disjudgment. They get tolerated. You walk into a room full of friends, but you're invisible. Your ideas get talked over. Your voice doesn't matter. And the worst part, you think it's something about you, but it is not. It is the economics of the relationships. You're giving energy, they're giving tolerance, and that exchange is imbalanced. There is a psychological phenomenon called the competence bias. Here is how it works. When people see financial stability, their brain automatically associates with having your life together. Watch carefully, because this is the moment that changes everything. Same person, same values, same intelligence, same heart. But the moment your financial situation shifts, everything shifts. People stop listening. They respect your choices. They stop trying to fix you. Why? Because their brain associates you with has their life together. And suddenly, you're not a project. You're a peer. This isn't shallow. This is in you being judged unfairly. This is how the human brain works. Financial stability signals autonomy, and your brain respects autonomy because autonomy means of power. People are attracted to people with options because people with options can't be controlled. And respect is just another word for I recognize you having options, so I can't push you around. The moment you lose financial independence, you lose that signal, and people sense it. Not consciously, but they sense it, and they treat you differently. Now let's talk about the relationship that hurts. Most people aren't choosing to stay in disintoxication. They are forced to stay because they literally cannot afford to live. Think about that. You're not weak for staying. You're trapped. And when you're trapped, something happens to your mind. Your silence isn't the power move. It is a survival mechanism. You stop speaking up because speaking up could cost you everything. You accept disrespect because you have no exit strategy. You tolerate behavior you would never accept in anyone else because you are dependent. This erodes your self-esteem slowly, day by day, year by year, until you don't even recognize yourself anymore. But here is the shift. The moment you have financial independence, everything changes. Your silence becomes the choice instead of necessity. Your boundaries become real. Your voices carries weight because people realize you don't need them to survive. The most respected people in any relationship aren't the ones who need the other person. They are the ones who could leave if they wanted to. Paradoxically, the less dependent you are, the more respect you receive. I'm going to ask you something direct. Are you staying somewhere right now, a relationship, a job, a family dynamic? Not because you want to, but because you have to. Because you can't afford to live. Be honest with yourself. If yes, then you understand exactly what I'm talking about. You understand that your respect in that situation is conditional. It's based on your usefulness, on your dependence. The moment you become independent, the dynamic shifts. Not because they suddenly become good people, but because you're no longer a controllable variable. And here is the truth they don't want you to know. You have more power than you think. Because the moment you start building independence, you start sending a different signal. Your body language changes. Your voice changes. People sense it. And they either rise to meet you as a peer, or they fade away because you are no longer useful to them. Either outcome is the right outcome. Stop thinking of money as something to buy things with. Start thinking of it as a respect currency. Money isn't wealth, it's freedom, it's autonomy. It's the ability to say no without fearing for your survival. Because here is what nobody talks about. Your value as a human is fixed. You have worth right now, this moment, exactly as you are. But the respect you receive, that's valuable, and it's directly tied to whether people think you have options. When you don't have money, people see you as stuck, trapped, needing them. When you do have money, suddenly you are in control. making choices instead of accepting circumstances. This is why building financial independence is the ultimate act of self-care. Not because you are greedy, not because you are materialistic, but because it removes the hooks that others used to control you. It gives you back your voice, your choices, your dignity. The person who can walk away is the person everyone respects. Because respect isn't earned through being good enough, it is given to people who don't need approval to survive. So what happens when you start building independence? 3 things shift immediately. First one, your self-respect grows. You're no longer begging for external validation. You're secure in your own ground. Second one, the people's statement of your shift. They sense your autonomy. They give you space. They respect your choices. Third, you finally get to choose who stays in your life. The people who loved you will adapt. The people who were only around because you needed them will fade away. And that's okay, because real relationships aren't building between dependent and dependee. They are built between whole people. When you become independent, you attract different people. You repel the wrong people. This is the exact moment your life changes. Not when you get the money, not when you reach a specific number. It's the moment you decide, I will not tolerate mistreatment because I have an exit strategy. That decision changes your energy and people feel it. They either rise to match your new standard or they leave. Both are wins. Here is a final truth that changes everything. Don't build your life on the hope that others will be kind. Build it on the foundation of your own independence. Because the only respect worth having is the respect that comes from people who recognize you have options. So I want to ask you, have you noticed some relationship shift based on financial situations? Have you felt the difference between being respected and being tolerated? Comment below, tell your story, because someone reading your comment might finally understand their own situation. If this video shifted how you see respect and independence, please like it and subscribe for more content that explores the real psychology behind the power, money and relationship. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.